I don't know how to do any of this like Zoom kind of stuff or
Me
whatever.
neither.
But we got to start, because I feel like some of our Total Recall show celebrities are very like attainable.
Yeah, like I'll get a cameo from Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, cameos.
William Catt he's like
Yes.
no, David Hasselhoff's there.
Mm-hmm.
Kid is parked there and its lights are flashing. He's like,
Yeah, we could
the recall shuffle.
we could get a couple different cameos and then kind of splice them together. Like come up with a cross cameo script where it's like, William Catt's doing his bit and then Lou Ferrigno's
We
doing
edit into like we have a music bed underneath it and it secretly turned them all into
or even just like a skit where we cut it like they're having a conversation with each other,
You're a genius. That's fucking spectacular.
The name of the show is the Total Recall Show, and so Schwarzenegger science fiction movies are part of the part of the stew, part of the fabric, of what we're doing. So we're talking about Predator today.
Long time coming.
And I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life, The King of Comics, and Fantastic Four Grand Design.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Tom Scioli or on Instagram at Tom_Scioli.
Follow me on Instagram at cinema_2.
And check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Tom Scioli, and you can check out a bunch of comics I've been working on for the past couple of years.
Follow the show on Instagram at total_recall_show.
Predator, it's like, first time I saw it was at like a sleepover birthday party for my cousin. It was the first time I ever stayed up all night. Like, stayed up, from like to see the sun come up and start the next day.
Same here.
First time I ever did that. And it was at like a
sleepover. Yeah.
We watched a ton of movies. We watched Critters.
Oh.
We watched, we watched a bunch of stuff. And this was one of the movies, videos we watched. I wonder.
Classic.
I'm trying to think back because I don't think they owned the. I guess my aunt and uncle must have like made a trip to the mom and pop video store and just like rented a stack of videos.
That's heaven, brother.
Yeah.
Just thinking back, I'm like, yeah, you get those combos like on different sleepovers. I'm like, oh, I remember when we watched this, that, and the 3 or 4 movies that your family would rent.
This sleepover was so epic because like we played some Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my god.
We beat a bunch of Nintendo games, NES games. Because I don't know if it was my cousins or maybe one of the other kids brought it over, but we had the NES advantage. So 1943, we could do the slow-mo.
What?
And so, I was able to beat 1943, with the aid of slow-mo. 1943, there's points in 1943 where, there's just, bullets flying everywhere, and, the slow-mo is the only way around it. So, we beat one of the Mega Mans. Might have been Mega Man 1, might have been Mega Man 2.
Sleepovers were, the best. My buddy Colin, when I was in, second grade, I slept over at his house for the first time, and it was for his birthday, and he got Hero Quest.
Oh, sweet.
And we played it that night,
That's
all
awesome.
night, and then the next day, we went to Toys R Us and got, the expansion packs and stuff.
Nice, yeah.
So,
you can relive that. They have a new Hero Quest that was, it was a Kickstarter, so you can get, the new Hero Quest, and they have new expansion packs. I have the old Hero Quest. I don't have any of the expansion packs. We'll have to play some Hero. We started a new thread of board games here, so we'll do some board games.
Total Recall board game club.
We got to do some. We got to do some Hero Quest, but I'm wondering if these new Hero Quest expansions are backwards compatible. So if you could use them on the old, because I don't feel like going out and buying the new Hero Quest.
No,
if
we
I
got
have
the old one.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. And so that was one of the movies we watched, and that was my first time seeing it. I think some of the other kids were more familiar with it than I was, because this wasn't this sort of I think my dad just wasn't into this, but it wasn't that he wasn't into action movies. I think he was not on board with the Schwarzenegger train, he was not.
My dad liked all action.
Yeah.
So he was into Norris.
Yeah,
Stallone,
my dad didn't like any of those
Seagal,
guys. Yeah. He likes Seagal. My dad likes Seagal. Probably because Seagal's Italian.
Yeah, say out of your mother or whatever.
Yeah, he has that one.
The ponytail.
I saw a couple of Seagal movies with my dad in the theater, and he loved Seagal. And there is the one where Seagal is Italian, and he's like, "Hey, fucking Abucci, I know that fucking guy."
Oh yeah, like my dad would.
Seagal, it's short for Segali.
He would say like he's like of all these action guys, he's like Seagal's real, or he's like he's a real. He would say like he's
so funny. Well, because Seagal, like, you know, again, he's kind of like a legendary, you know, like legendary bullshitter or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think there are some pictures of like Seagal next to Bruce Lee or something. Like, am I remembering wrong?
I think you're right.
Yeah, like or maybe it's like a picture of Seagal.
Photoshop.
Yeah, before Photoshop. It's like Seagal standing next to Chuck Norris during the like Enter the Dragon,
oh wow,
you know, or Way of the Dragon era. You know, like I feel like I've seen like a picture of him with Bruce Lee or something.
But my dad was into like all the action guys.
So like Commando, like I've never seen Commando. Like,
we've
yeah,
got
we'll watch that
to watch that here.
So yeah, it was kind of like
you're gonna love Commando.
Yeah,
it's quintessential Schwarzenegger. I love it. It's one of my favorite all-time flicks. It was one of the first DVDs I ever got.
Oh, okay.
So it's like an original DVD, like first wave. Legendary action, great character. Like the Predator is so fucking awesome.
Yeah, a really great character. Like the monster, you know, the monster in a movie. It's like so important, and the Predator is a good one.
Stan Winston creature design.
Yeah, great. Like and because all through the movie, again, like just thinking back to the first time I saw it, like I was kind of like, you know, surprised when you actually see him. And again, like some of the other kids had seen this movie a bunch of times. You know, it was like kind of like a legend to them. It was new to me. And so it's like you see him and he's got his mask on and you're getting a sense of it. And then when the mask comes off, it is like a really nice reveal.
Shock. And I was reading that Stan Winston, he would work with James Cameron on Aliens, and James Cameron gave him the idea to make like the little like extra. That
was a good move.
Like and this movie is one of my favorite directors too. John McTiernan was in real jail and is currently in director's jail.
Okay.
He did Die Hard, Hunt for Red October, Medicine Man, Last Action Hero.
Is Last Action Hero, is that what put him in movie jail, or is he? I assume he went in there for a little bit at least.
I think he did whatever his like early 2000s. He had like a bomb, I think. But it also, I think because he went to jail, he hasn't seemed to have worked since then. I read that he when he was in jail, he wrote a sequel to Thomas Crown Affair while he was in there.
You know, I realize there's 2 governors in this movie.
There is 2.
At least 2 governors.
There's Dutch. There's Dutch, and Jesse Ventura, and I think Sonny Landham ran for governor. So
okay,
there was 3 plus 2 and 2.1 governor.
You know, Schwarzenegger had such like a plan for his career and stuff, a career arc, and it's interesting to see because it's like the first couple roles, he knows like you have to come up with an explanation for why he talks the way he does. You know, it's like, you know, yes, that like his name. My name's Dutch, because I'm Dutch, and this is the way we talk in my country. Everybody talks like this. I'm Dutch, but the arc of his career, he reaches a point where he stops doing that. Where it's kind of like a power move. It's not like, no, my name isn't Frankenheimer or nothing like that. It's like, hey, it's me, Quaid. Quaid. It's Harry from work. There's Harry from work. It's like, I'm just a regular all-American guy. I'm from Pittsburgh. This is the way we talk in Pittsburgh. We all talk like this.
I'm just steel. I worked in the steel. My dad worked in the steel mill before me.
I'm from Indiana. Indiana, the little town I grew up in Indiana. We all talk like this.
Fries on your sandwich.
Yeah. Do you want to meet me at Culver's? We'll go get some hamburgers at Culver's, and we'll. How about some cheese curd? Cheese curd. Because I'm from the Midwest.
In Commando, his character's name's John Matrix.
I'm John Matrix. John Matrix. I'm just an ordinary, average guy.
Nobody questions. Yeah. They're like, why is this guy like a 7-foot fucking
That's
yoke
like a
out
power
of his
move.
mind?
That's a power move when you're like, like the elephant in the room, and then you kind of dare people to like laugh at it,
He's like Harry Rehnquist.
Harry Rehnquist. I'm Harry Rehnquist. There's no explanation. It's not. I'm not Harry Dusseldorf. Like we don't have to come up. But Dutch. Dutch might be the last role he has where it's like, oh, here's the explanation. I'm not from around here.
I'm Dutch. I'm just Dutch.
I'm Dutch. Just the way we talk.
He gets.
What's your fucking problem? It's in my name, Dutch.
I'm Dutch, not the Ed O'Neill, John Hughes.
Right. Yeah, the Ed O'Neill. Now, was it the same script writer that wrote Dutch and wrote this?
I think it was John Hughes made have done.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Dutch. But
we got to do that.
Holy shit! That's gonna be great.
They call me Dutch because of Dutch treat. When I go out on a date with a girl, I never pay for her dinner. We each pay. We all go halvesies.
We went Dutch. It's like, oh, you guys.
I love Dutch food.
You guys split the check? No, I teamed up with Carl Weathers and killed a predator. That's what going Dutch is.
Predator.
He's like,
and you know what? It is like, I love like the arc and like the story of these kind of 80s movies, because like now we take all this kind of genre stuff for granted, where it's like, superhero movies, all this kind, multiverses, all this kind of stuff, where like back then it's like you got to hook people with like something they're familiar with, so it's like we're going to start out where you think you're watching like an army movie or something, and they got this mission. All the details of the mission are all kind of lined up, and then it's going to take a left turn.
I love that. You don't get that anymore, really.
Yeah.
And like even with the preview, I've never really seen too many trailers, but like they might have. I hope they kept the Predator kind of like under wraps in the trailer, so you wouldn't really know what you're getting.
In terms of iconic stuff, there's like the high five, the hand.
Oh, he's like he's like Dylan and Dutch.
Dylan and Dutch, D&D. We're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons. We're gonna stay up all night, play Dungeons and Dragons. We're gonna beat a bunch of NES games. Speaking of NES games, I beat the Predator NES game.
You did? That game's so hard.
Yeah, it was one of those
incredibly
when I was
difficult.
a kid, I'd rent a game and I would just like play the hell. I beat the Total Recall game.
What?
I beat the Predator game. The Predator game. I mean, the Total Recall game has like a really steep difficulty. Like, it is really hard to get the hang of it in the beginning. It's like a poorly designed game. A well designed game is supposed to kind of like ease you in, but it's like murder at the very beginning. But if you can kind of figure that out, you're good, and you can cruise through the whole game. But Contra is a much better video game version of Predator. It's a much better version of it.
Because even the character design.
Yeah,
the
character design. Yeah, Schwarzenegger and Stallone. The Predator game on the surface looks like that, but it's super boring, super repetitive. But you do like, and you have to defeat the Predator a bunch of times. Like, he's kind of like the end boss of like every level, and then you just have to beat him at like one last time and stuff. But it does have, because like playing the game, the big incentive for me to like play the game all the way through was like what are they gonna do about that? You're one ugly motherfucker. You're one ugly motherfucker. Like, what are they gonna do about that? You are one ugly motherfucker. Like, what are they gonna do about that part? And so when it got to that part, it says, "You're one ugly beast." Now, I don't think that was what they'd say on TV. I'm trying to remember what they said.
No, I can't remember the TV edit. I love TV edits.
To me, it's like the way he says, "You're a one ugly motherfucker." Like, you don't even understand what he's like. Why not just run it?
Yeah, just right. Like in Die Hard, it's like, "Yippee-ki-yay, melon farmer."
Yeah, right.
And then another one is "Yippee." I think they made a T-shirt out of this. Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. They replaced motherfucker with Mr. Falcon.
You are one ugly motherfucker.
You one ugly melon farmer.
You're one ugly motherfucker. I'm trying
to... You are one ugly motherfucker. Motherfucker.
That's, they do all those like SNL like things where it's like, like the SNL auditions for Star Wars, and so it's it's Norm Macdonald as Burt Reynolds auditioning for Han Solo and stuff like that. So like they need to do one of like a bunch of different actors reading the "You're one ugly motherfucker" line.
Jerry Seinfeld
Yeah.
for Dutch.
You're one ugly motherfucker. Who are these ugly motherfuckers? Why are they ugly? And why are they fucking their mother? Whose mother are they fucking?
Gilbert Gottfried.
You know what? That's like the most hack thing like ever, is like to do this Seinfeld imitation, but like have him dissect something that's like R-rated. You know, why do they say motherfucker? Who is? It's like in Living Color they kind of did a version. Did you ever see Jerry Seinfeld? Like it was Jim Carrey as Jerry Seinfeld. I'm getting bum rushed. Why do they call it a bum rush? Who's the bum? And why is he in a rush?
I remember when he was Vanilla Ice too, and he's like, I got a toilet paper cut, and he's like kicking it, and his shoe goes flying off.
Gilbert Gottfried's Jerry Seinfeld is like famous, and rightly so. But yeah, we don't talk enough about Jim Carrey's Jerry Seinfeld imitation.
But you know what? I am gonna be watching that on YouTube.
Yeah, watch some in living color. Who's the bum? And why is he in such a rush?
Remember when he was like a Conan, like playing like Conan?
Yeah, it was Conan. It was like a Conan movie.
And he put Keanu Reeves' head into his armpit, and he like killed him basically from smelling his armpit. Dude.
What
a great fucking show.
Yeah, that is.
I was watching it.
You know, because you have like the Jim Carrey years, but then there's like the Jamie Foxx years. Like
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx was on there for a while,
Long time.
Yeah. So Predator. So it's like it's like an army thing. It's like Heartbreak Ridge or something in the beginning. You know, they're like going in on this mission. It's like kind of the doldrums. Like the Cold War is like kind of still going on and stuff. It's like. It's about to end in a couple years.
Yeah, they're going into the jungle to.
Did they ever say like where? I mean, I guess not. I guess it's
they
like
never
generic.
say where they're going. But in a couple of action movies like Die Hard 2 and Commando, there's like they use the same like it's like an inside screenwriter like thing with Valverde is like
okay.
They don't do it. They don't do that in Predator here.
Yeah, I've read a ton of G.I. Joe comics, and you can see like the influence this had because like there's the G.I. Joe comics and then Predator comes out and then you start seeing like a lot of scenes in the helicopter where it's all red where they're like getting ready for the mission.
There's a G.I. Joe 2 that had a chain gun and after seeing Predator I'm like I gotta have like that was like the star of it. Like my brother would be like when we would play we'd like I want to get Joe and have the chain gun. Like
yeah, I think that was that Rock and Roll.
I think you're right, Rock and Roll.
Yeah, because Rock and Roll got this complete overhaul, and it is like this movie came like at some point we'll have to do like a read through of like the G.I. Joe comics. And like you'll be able to market like you also see like in the early G.I. Joes you see like where it's like okay they just saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then all of a sudden it's like snakes. Why are there snakes? You know, like you start getting Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's like you do like
got Predator.
Predator probably had the biggest influence, like you know, at some point in like the '80s, where it like kind of.
And Jesse Ventura has like the Wild Bill kind of like hat, like with the one side like up. Like this is like the action movie portion. They're going in. The team that was going to get hostages disappeared, and they're going in like after them. Yeah,
this has been. This section has been imitated so many times. The most recent example I can think of is the second Suicide Squad movie. Kind of has like almost like a spoof of this sequence.
Yeah, rappelling into the jungle.
How beautiful is that jungle? And it is also different wars in different eras. And so like the touchstone at this point, it was still Vietnam. So it's like it's jungle action. It's gonna be like a jungle war. You know, even if it's not specifically Vietnam.
And I was reading they filmed this down. This was in Mexico, is where they filmed. The jungle's in Mexico.
Yeah, it's it's
beautiful looking.
There's no like flat terrain. It's like constant like hills and.
Yeah, they said the shoot for this was like insane.
Yeah, it looks like a really difficult shoot. It looks like one of those shoots where like everybody starts going nuts. Everybody starts hating. You know, like it takes forever to get anything set up. There was a flood. It rained the night before. You know, like
you're
everything's
cold.
fucked.
You're wet.
It reminds me of like the Island of Dr. Moreau shoot
when
you hear about like what went on there. It's like the same kind of situation. and like it's probably like a long ride to the hotel where everybody's staying.
Oh hell yeah! So many things jogging my memory. You mentioned Heartbreak Ridge. There was definitely contraband stogies where Schwarzenegger got Carl Weathers like hooked on cigars
in real life.
Real life. And then
Carl Weathers tells this story.
Yeah, he tastes him and he's like, this is so good. He's like, try a stogie, Carl.
Carl, I won't tell you, Mazza.
I won't tell you.
I won't tell you, Mazza. You can smoke one.
Try it. He said Arnold he had somebody holding his stogie between scenes or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Like a stogie boy.
Arnold has like a human humidor clause in his contract.
There's a guy see, Tom, I'm gonna go down and hold Arnold's humidor for.
It's a cyborg, and like his chest opens up. And
he's like the Stogie Bot
Humidor 2000.
He's like, these are Cubans.
The contraband stogie that Clint Eastwood told him to get out of his face. Arnold's like all about the contraband.
Yeah,
like they need a scene with Dutch and Gunny Highway where they're talking about, because they have such opposing views about contraband stogie.
What does Gunny say? He's like, get that contraband stogie. I'm gonna
out of my face.
Out of my face.
If you don't get that contraband stogie out of my face, I'm gonna stick it so far up your ass you're gonna need to set your nose on fire to light it.
Stogie Bot. He's like,
it's Stallone's robot from Rocky IV.
Yeah, he's like Stallone. You know, Arnold always has been besting Stallone. And he seems to be like reactionary. He's like, I can't believe it. He took my robot down to Mexico to shoot. He loaded it with stogies. We can't use it for Rocky V. He took it down. He took the robot. Schwarzenegger, he's like, Arnold got me again. The thing's loaded up with stogies. They're coming out of its ass. Happy birthday, Arnold, or whatever. He's like, instead of
Gabe Kaplan takes one of them. Yeah, Gabe, try one. Gabe, I got Carl Weathers hooked on cigars. Gabe Kaplan got me hooked on stogies. I did the guest spot on Welcome Back, Kotter. I was the Austrian exchange student.
Custom desk man, they couldn't fit in it. He clips the stogie in its ass. And there's a lighter. It comes out of his nose. He keeps ruining shots because Arnold's damn Stogie Bot keeps knocking over like the lamps and like.
Stogie Bot is at Planet Hollywood. The now defunct Stogie Bot at the now defunct Planet Hollywood. We got to do a Demolition Man episode too.
That's we should get some Planet Hollywood gear.
This tastes exactly like a McDonald's cheeseburger. It's a rat burger.
Not bad.
Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah,
like a Stallone-verse. Yeah. And then the movie takes a left turn. It's like it's this, but it's like they show up ready for some big battle, and yet you're right. The helicopter gun. I remember the first time I saw it. That was like a bit like
huge,
all the kids were like, "Oh yeah, the helicopter!" Like oh man, there it is. You know.
He calls it Old Painless,
and it just keeps going and going and going, and then it like runs out. So then they expect to find like a big like they have a tiny skirmish. They blow up some stuff. They have a tiny skirmish, but they expect more of a fight. But then they find it like it's just filled with like these flayed corpses. Like the first time I saw that, it freaked me the hell out. Yeah, it's freaky.
It's crazy. Yeah. The Predator is played by the late Kevin Peter Hall, who he had a great year, 87. He's since passed away, but 87 was a great year for him. He played Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
He played Harry from Work.
Harry
from Work tried to kill me. Harry and the Hendersons. Okay, I like these guys. Harry from Work. I love that job Schwarzenegger has, where he's like operating this like jackhammer.
Yeah, he's like he did a pump right before that shot and greased himself up.
Well, it's like they need the explanation for the muscles, because he's just an ordinary average guy, Quaid, but they have amazing muscles, and they always need an explanation. So like Conan, the explanation is he's pushing this like wheel for like 10 years or whatever. And then in that, it's like he's operating this jackhammer. Now, Harry from Work is like super out of shape. He's standing right next to him, has the same job, has to do all the same stuff, but he's like completely out of shape.
He's like, screw you, baby!
Like Harry has been like coasting, on, it's like
Harry from Work.
Harry from Work. Like the two of them get assigned, like, okay, I need you guys to like break up this sidewalk. You guys need to break up this sidewalk. and as long as I don't care how you guys do it, but as long as you get it done, and it's like Harry's like
letting him do all the work. He's like, what the fuck did I do wrong?
so they realize something's up, and then it just gets. It's like you're in a whole other kind of movie than what it starts out.
Great one-liner by Arnold when he throws a knife in the guy. He's like, stick around.
You got to like reverse engineer these like Arnold saying. So you come up with the saying, and then you figure out how you can work it.
Work
into
your way
the,
backwards.
So like, sock it to me, baby, and it's like, okay, how do we work? How do we like? Okay, something with a sock. Okay, yeah, he strangles somebody with a sock, and he's like, sock it to me, baby.
He's like, hit me, baby, one more time.
Yeah, right.
There was a failed one-liner in the end of Commando, which you'll see, and it's the final line of the movie. It was supposed to be huge. It was no chance.
No chance.
No chance.
Now what?
They tried to make that happen.
And what was the context?
They're like the guy was asking him if he'll be back. Or coming back. He was like, "Will you rejoin our fighting squad or whatever?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "No chance."
And they edited that out.
No, it was clearly like an attempt at a one line.
Well, because it's the anti "I'll be back." He's like, instead of saying "I'll be back," he said "No chance. I will not be back."
Hey Arnold, you gonna tip? I'm the waiter. He's like, hey, are you gonna tip on these baby back ribs, Arnold? He's like,
no chance. I'll be back. Arnold like ripped off like having the one-liners. It's a James Bond thing, and like James Bond's whole thing was James Bond will be back.
Yeah.
In the credits and stuff. So
they're like, you coming back? He's like, no chance. Dude, I'm out of TP. Can I have some? He's like, no chance.
He's with the Benedictine monks, and he's like, no chance. He's at the Super Bowl, and they're like, here we go, Steelers. He's like, no chance.
Somebody's on like using his computer back in like 1996. It's AOL, and he closes it. No, he breaks the computer. He goes, no chance.
No chance. We edit him into being there, and he's like, no chance. Chance the Gardener. Like, this movie, it did give you like a whole new way of playing with your little army guys.
Of course.
Like, just when like army guys, because like it's amazing how long army guys stuck around. Can you still get army guys, like the little green army guys?
I haven't looked for them. I hope so.
But it gave that, like, when they seemed like they were running out of steam, it gave them a new lease on, because like a new way you can play. And the best part is you don't even need a Predator toy, because like the Predator's invisible.
Visible.
So
he could always be there.
They could remarket the army guys thing as like the Predator set, where you can play out the scene, your favorite scenes from Predator. Yeah. You don't even need to include a little Predator figure.
Yeah, it says Predator, invisible Predator included.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, he's in there, and he's got the loaded, the huge chew in his mouth.
Yeah, the cud. It's amazing the life that this franchise, because like as recently as like a year ago or something, they had a new Predator movie.
Oh yeah,
which we'll have to review.
We've got to review it. Shane Black is in this movie. Mm-hmm. The writer of that Iron Man 3 director is. Yeah,
it's kind of amazing. Like, was he like an actor turned screenwriter, or was it like he was a screenwriter and then just was given this like bit part in this?
He acted. He does some acting too, but I think they had him on. They wanted him on set too for in like punch-ups.
So it's like, okay, you can play a role, so we get some extra use out of you, and we can like bump up your pay a little bit and have a justification for it, and you're here to help out if we need some lines. That's pretty cool. Arnold's like camo is like very like his camo like on his face and stuff is very iconic. Like, is that supposed to be like a callback to Conan? Because there's like the scene in Conan where he has like the camo on his face.
I mean, like, I wouldn't doubt that. When you see his camo in Commando, it's got like the stripes and everything. Mm-hmm. I think Commando might even be more Conan than
right, because this is like some greens and stuff, where the Conan was just like this like black.
Yeah, he throws the knife at the guy. He's like, stick around.
And when they fight these guys, they just saw all those flayed bodies in the woods, so they assume that these guys did that. So they think these guys are like the worst like war criminals or whatever.
He's like payback.
Mm-hmm.
Van Damme was originally the Predator.
Oh, cool.
Apparently, like, he was didn't want not to have his face shown. Yeah. And he was kind of like, they realized he was like,
too
everyone
small.
Was like towering over him.
Yeah. No, yeah, getting like Harry from Harry and the Hendersons is a good move. You want like a intimidating presence.
And it was funny because like this was nominated for Oscar for best special effects.
Mm-hmm.
So was Harry. And Harry Henderson's won.
Mm-hmm.
The Academy, and Kevin Peter Hall was like, I'm going up against me.
Yeah.
Me versus me.
The leaves in this jungle setting are really used to good effect. There's like a lot of shots of like them sort of moving through them. And that is good if you're making a movie about an invisible enemy. You want like a bunch of stuff that can get kind of like
blown around.
Yeah.
And like after seeing this, I thought I was an expert on like heat vision and stuff.
Right.
Like
yeah.
a thermal imaging.
That thermal imaging was like a big 80s thing. And like RoboCop,
yeah.
big in 87, the thermal imaging. We'll have to do a separate Predator 2 episode too. But yeah, the longevity of it's cool. And I think the comics helped. Like the comics, like when there weren't movies being made anyway, like it's kind of stayed alive in the comics, and then kind of were able to do like a little more world building there.
And there's the new Predator movie, Prey. We'll have to watch that too on Hulu.
There's been a series of Archie versus Predator comics.
That's crazy. I want to see that. That's awesome.
And it's pretty bloody and like it's good stuff. And Predator it's a Predator movie. Like it's great. It's a Predator comic. It doesn't hold back at all. Like it's pretty awesome.
That's cool. I can't wait to read that.
Good use of the Archie stuff.
That's sick. The body count in this movie is like off the charts.
Yeah, it's very cynical. Just like movies were kind of going this way. Where it's just like. It's kind of like a slasher movie. Like the slasher movie is an stick around.
I got in trouble with. I was in the Scouts, and like we were at a camping trip, and like I was just repeating the David Letterman top 10 list, and I remember I was like. The one guy who was like the was like this kid's dad came by, and right as I was like. Van Damme kicked Chuck Norris's ass in a bar fight. Yeah. And he was like, he got so bent out of shape.
You gotta grab your ear.
Yeah. I was just repeating a David Letterman talk.
It's tough. That's tough.
We'll have to cover ourselves in mud to like avoid the predator.
Yeah, it's nice those little bits of quote unquote real world science, and where it's like, okay, yeah, he's thermal imaging, so if you cover yourself with something cold,
Before I saw this for the first time, the first things I saw of Predator were like this show about stunts, and where I was like got into stuntman because I was into the Fall Guy.
Sure, yeah.
Love stuntman. So it was like I learned about like Dara Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the guy he was in Stick with Burt Reynolds. He was like hanging off the balcony and it did like the fall with like the cord, but it was like the stunt when Schwarzenegger is sliding, and then he goes off that cliff and falls into the water. It was all about that stunt, and I was like, "What the fuck is this from?" It's Predator. Before you saw it. Yeah,
I remember like all those kind of specials where like there was like a Terminator 2 special with like all kinds of stuff and like deleted scenes. It's like. The way you throw off his thermal imaging is you smear yourself with feces. And you have to eat it too. You have to take a couple bites and swish it around, and then he won't be able to detect you. You have to roll around in human excrement. You need to shit yourself and roll around in it. Then he won't be able to.
They're like, we're up against the toughest enemy we've ever faced.
The shitinator. Or the shititer.
You must sit on your hand and smear every inch of your surface of your body with your own
excrement. You need an exosuit, but it's an excrement suit.
And also an intersuit. You must ingest.
Yes, you'll be able to see your tongue and your mouth. So you got to eat the excrement as well. for the full camouflage. It is like that is just a cool visual of like Arnold like caked head to toe with mud.
Yeah.
Like it's very dramatic and like the all these kind of action movies they get all like apocalyptic by the end where like everything's burning and all this, so it looks very cool, but it's like it's good to have like a plot reason for it.
And it's at the end. He's like, to beat the Predator, I must go analog. He's like, I don't have any like my machine guns. I must like make spears. And,
yeah, he becomes like it becomes an insurgency. Like that the Predator is the colonialist. He's the invader, and then Arnold is the insurgent with home court advantage.
Guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
He's like, you're my tough Predator.
Yeah.
You're one ugly motherfucker.
They need to do one where the Predator comes to Arnold's hometown in Austria that he grew up at, where he knows like every inch of it. The pig farm and
the gym. One day I went.
Yeah, here's the gym where I would do my.
It was closed.
Morning.
I remember in elementary school reading like the Arnold like the book on Arnold. And it's like I had to He's like, when the gym was closed, I broke in because I had to get pumped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, myth making, building his own legend.
You're
pushing too many. Yeah, what was that quote? The pushing too many pencils.
Pushing pencils made you weak, Dylan. Got you pushing too many pencils.
They got you pushing too many pencils.
CIA has me sucking too many stogies. We have to get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Yeah, this is the movie with Get to the Chopper. Can't believe it. Get to the chopper. It's like the way they came up with Shane Black. The way he came up with that line was overhearing, some drama at the toilet. Arnold had like filled the toilet with shit, and they're like, "It won't go down. Get the chopper. Get the chopper. Chop up the turds." That's the secret origin of to get to the chopper.
Oh, it's like
somebody needs to get the chopper. Get to the chopper. We chop it up. Yeah, I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life, The King of Comics, and Fantastic Four Grand Design.
I'm Zeoli.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Tom Scioli or on Instagram at Tom_Scioli.
Follow me on Instagram at cinema_tomb.
And check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Tom Scioli, and see the different comics that I've been working on the past couple of years.
Follow the show on Instagram at total_recall_show.
And yeah, we'll see you next time.